What's up, guys? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. We just got over here. We're in the trailer. We're working on the race car. We got some progress we got to make. We're trying to go test and tuning in the next few days, but we got some work to do. We went to Carolina Cash Days at Shady Side. If y'all hadn't watched those videos, go check them out. Awesome racing. I'll give you a breakdown real fast of what happened, and let me show you what we got to do. If you want to support the channel, head on over to turbojohnracing.com. Grab yourself some hats and t-shirts. Thanks, guys. So this is going to be like a 30-second overview. We were heading to Shady Side. We had a blowout on the motorhome, so we were stuck beside the road. We made beside the road changes, made the right call. Went out there first round, had to race the blower car. It went out there and went down through there pretty fast. I wish I could share times with y'all, but you know, it's just not possible in this no time world right now that we're in. Car went down. It was a little slower than I anticipated, but we started pecking at it. So each round, second round, third round, fourth round, we went personal best against Jerry. Every round we picked up about a half a tenth a second. And so we got to the fourth round, we picked up another 6 numbers against our buddy Jerry, went personal best for the night, and we were good. So Corey was turning us around really fast, which you got to. They had a 12 o'clock curfew. He had 40 cars. He was trying to get us done by 12 o'clock. We appreciate that. The fans appreciate that. It's always a good time when you can get done at a reasonable time if it's possible. So we were pushing to turn around the car, made some changes, and the car in the semifinals, we were down to 3 cars. It did not like it. And so it got on the tire, started some tire spin. Traction control grabbed it for quite a while. It was like almost a half a second. It grabbed it and pulled it down to like 5 degrees of timing, trying to get it under control. Now you look at the video, you can see that it gets wheel speed, but you don't know for sure if it would have kept on accelerating or not. It may have blown tires off and white smoked it. Something we're gonna have to test at some point is to see if traction control, maybe we would be better off, maybe we'd be faster with no traction control on the car in some situations. Slicks generally like wheel speed. We've been dead hooking that bad boy, letting it go. So it got wheel speed, slowed down 0.4 of a second. We got put out, and it wouldn't have mattered anyway. Let me show you what happened when we got back to the pit. Notice we got back to the pit, and we were like, okay, the car is super hot. Now, why is it so hot? Let me show you what happened. So the temperature was like 240 degrees, which makes no sense. And I was like, I don't understand what that is. And we were sitting there, you know, licking our wounds about how much we had slowed down. And then all of a sudden, we could have been pretty bad. We could have lost the whole car. We started noticing there was some smoke coming over here from this side, on right here where my water pump is. And so started investigating and started grabbing stuff and moving stuff. And the water pump has locked up. And so the water pump was basically burning itself up. It had melted all this stuff back here. Now, granted, it's got water, so I don't know if it would have damaged a bunch of stuff, but you can see how hot the wires were. I mean, it was blazing, smoking, and so we killed the power, and then we were like, okay, well, the water pump's fried. So even if we would have won that last round, we would not have been able to race against Beer Money. And you can see down there, there's a little bit of smoke damage. It's not bad. I mean, it was smoking a lot, guys. I don't know if it would have caught on the whole car on fire or not. You can see my butt connectors all the way back here. I mean, they were blazing hot. Man, you can't believe that's not wire nuts, can you? But so we ordered us another another water pump. There's a couple things. This is a Davies Craig water pump. It's a 150. And you notice we got this thing necked down pretty small. This is a number 16, or you can use like 1.25 inch hose on the inlet and the outlet. So one of the things that has been happening as we have been running this thing, it's not really the best system. The way I build it, basically, we've got water going through the block and the heads, but we got cutoffs. We got plates that are blocking it coming out of the block. We basically run it through the intake up here. It goes down through the head. Some of it gets into the block, and then it comes back up over here. We're just trying to cool the heads off primarily. But the biggest thing is we don't have an overflow on this thing. And when I say we don't have an overflow because we have a completely sealed system. So basically what this thing does, it's all sealed. So it pumps from here. It goes down, goes through the intake there, comes back here, and then cycles through my cooler. This is the transmission cooler that is a radiator. This doesn't have a lot of capacity, but you know, it does help keep the hot spots out of the heads. And then it comes back to this tank. So y'all know what happens when you heat something up, right? So when you have a closed system, this is just like a car, you have a radiator cap that relieves pressure, and that's why you have to have an overflow bottle. So we don't have a radiator cap because we don't have an overflow bottle, we don't have a vent. So this thing just builds tremendous amounts of pressure. And so what we started doing is in between each pass, we loosen the cap up to vent the pressure and let it cool off, and it helps it take the caps off. And then it just helps cool down as well, because now that can kind of steam a little bit and you're good. But I think we made 43 pounds of boost on that last one. That was the, I think, 5th round of racing. And so each time it's like 160 when you get up there, but you just don't have a lot of volume of water. So this thing was getting a little hot. So I don't know how much coolant pressure it actually had, but I think what happened is, since we had excessive cooler pressure in that system there, and I don't think we got a lifted head gasket. I don't think I lifted it. The tune-up, it was 3.5 air fuel ratio with like 23 degrees of timing. So I think that's why it caused the water pump to fail. So even if we would have won that round, we were not going to be able to race the finals, because by the time we got back to the pits, it was 11:45, 11:40, and 12 o'clock curfew needed to happen. I mean, I would have needed a substantial amount of time to get this thing cooled off. So we ordered us another water pump. Water pump will be here in the next day or so, and so we're going to stick that water pump on. I also have a Honda aluminum radiator. I got to weld some number 16 bungs on, and so what I'm going to do is, these are number 12s, and so it's going to have a number 12 coming out, and it's going to go into a Y, a single number 16, and then it'll go to the radiator, and then we're going to have a regular overflow bottle, and then we're going to take these little teeny lines off. We'll feed the water into the block, and then it'll come back out through the thermostat housing, and then we'll have a functioning actual cooling system with a reasonable size radiator. It holds a little bit more water, but even more importantly, it's got a lot more fin capacity. Now, we do have to figure out where we're going to put the radiator. I don't know where we're going to put it. We probably could have put a regular small block Chevrolet pump on it, but the reason I went back with one of these little Davis Craig is because at some point in the future, if I decide I want to move the radiator to the back of the car, this little pump will probably work better than the front mount one here. So that's the game plan on what we got going on today. So we're going to take this pump off, get it, basically get these fittings out of it and get it ready for the other pump, so that basically when this pump comes for this next track outing in the next day or so, all I got to do is wire it in to right here, and then once it gets wired in, put it back together just like this, so that we can make another couple passes. And then next week or the following week, I've got a couple weeks off with this car. We'll end up doing the radiator like I want to do it. I got a couple spots I can do the radiator. I might be able to turn it sideways right here. I don't know if it'll fit there or not. Most likely what I'm gonna end up having to do, we're gonna have to take these Black Sheep Industry wastegates, and we're gonna have to move this downpipe. I think laying it down right here might be ideal. It is close to the turbo, to the inlet, but I think we'll be fine. We'll get plenty of fresh air coming up through this hole here, as you can see. So I think we're going to be okay just putting it up here. That's probably where it's going to go. Got plenty of room back here. I can mount it. Actually, I might be able to just lay it down in front of the wastegate up there. So lay that down in front of that up there might be ideal as well. So what we're going to do now, I'm gonna pull a couple spark plugs. We're gonna look at spark plugs, and I'm gonna go ahead and take this thing off. All right, guys. So you can pretty clearly see a timing mark on this thing. So we're pretty close on our timing, I think. Possibly. Maybe needs a little bit more. But, so this is the second plug. And, man, it is rusty. Alcohol, rust, everything, of course. You know, but we've been noticing that there's been some rust-colored condensation when we first cranked the car up. But I think we got to determine what the rust is coming from. What is that rust coming from? Is it coming from the cylinder liners? Maybe the cylinder walls? I don't usually run top lube. Maybe I need to put top lube into my fuel. And maybe that's what we're getting, is we're getting some rust. And I mean, looking at the plug, of course, you can't really get a read on it. You can see the maximum timing, but you can't really see anything else. And of course, the plug's all, you know, rusted up itself, which we've had these plugs in for several races now. So yeah, maybe we've just discovered another issue, that we should be running some type of top lube so that we're not killing the cylinder rings and killing the cylinder walls. So I guess I need to start ordering some of that stuff, put some top lube in it. There's a whole bunch of different things you can use. I don't know how effective it is. M3 actually got top lube in it already. M5 does as well. Maybe we should switch to M5, pick up a little bit of horsepower as well. Maybe. But yeah, that is definitely interesting. Interesting. So, all right, guys. Well, I decided not to take that pump off since I didn't have the other one. We are just going to wait until that one comes. So let's fire this thing up real fast, put this plug back in, crank it up, and see how everything sounds. All right, guys, well, it looks like everything is good. I think we're going to be okay. We're going to go test it, like I said, hopefully if the weather holds out, put my other pump back on it, and then next week we'll be getting a game plan for getting the big radiator on it. I think that's imperative to do. And like I said, we're going to start mixing some top lube in with this methanol, see if that helps cure the color on the plugs. I mean, generally methanol, it burns completely clear. It burns clean. All right, guys, well, that's going to wrap it up. Like I said, if y'all want to support the channel, head to turbojohnracing.com. Grab yourself some hats and t-shirts. Appreciate it, guys. We'll see y'all soon.